How do you feel personally about letting down your team? Mallard worked so hard last week to get you guys in the first place. You've now fallen back to second, 19 points away from the title.
I mean, how would you feel?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're rolling at you live. Happy Halloween. It's the day before Halloween or 2 days before. This is either coming out on Tuesday or Wednesday. But yeah, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yeah.
Can you guess what we are?
Some fun hats. Some orange on the left of me. But happy Halloween for those of you who celebrate. I don't know. Does everybody celebrate Halloween?
I think so.
Might be an American thing. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but happy Halloween to everyone except for Billy of the Green Ducks.
Oh, man. Started off hot.
Because what an absolute meltdown we've seen by them. Worked so hard this season. Quietly had one of the best seasons going that we've ever seen in Marbula One. If it weren't for Crazy Cat's Eyes, they would be a bigger story.
Yeah, it's really upsetting. If we want to go back a week, the Green Ducks had a great showing. Obviously, finally topped Crazy Cat's Eyes in the standings. I think us two, along with everyone out there, we're pretty fired up to see that. Yeah. Just a new name at number one. And for Billy to come out this week at Savage Speedway and perform like they did, it really upsetting. Really upsetting to be Billy in that squad.
Really upsetting, and we're actually going to hear from Billy in a couple of minutes here. When he gets to his podium, we'll throw it down there to get a live reaction. We'll talk about it after. But I think Billy went from being one of the fan favorites, the one who could chase down Crazy Cat's Eyes and be the people's champion, to now really being public enemy number one. I mean, it's hard to hate on because he's worked so hard this season, but wow, what an absolute abysmal effort here when all the chips were down.
Really, really tough. And the sad part is, if you're a Green Ducks, he really never had a chance.
Yeah.
I think he qualified around 13th, if I remember right. 8th, even worse.
Yeah.
He qualified at 8th.
That's not bad.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He was probably in the bottom 5 for the majority of the race.
Yeah.
Really tough to see. There's rumors that press conference got a little ugly. I haven't heard the full one, but
okay.
I've heard it got a little aggressive there with, obviously Billy's pretty emotional after that tough showing. So tough to see if you're Green Ducks.
And we know how us in the press can be. We can really start to push some buttons to try and get a reaction. So.
Tough. And I'm sure Billy was going through it. So
yeah, we'll begin to that in about 2 minutes. But before we fully dive in, let's talk about the Savage Speedway a little bit. It's always nostalgic coming back here. It's kind of the birthplace of Marbula One, if you will, with them hosting the first ever race in season 1. Savage Speeders, also really just a Marbula One marble. So, I mean, just any initial reactions on the track compared to what we've seen for the past 8 weeks?
Yeah, being a newer Marbula One fan, I found it interesting to hear, Greg's take on this track. It used to be about 7 to 10 laps. Then it went to 15, now 17 for the first year. I thought that was very interesting. Tough to oversee because there was a big cloud over this track, and I think it revolved around Speedy.
Yeah.
Home track, historic track, and Speedy comes in and he qualifies dead last. So that was my story, the story I got out of the qualifying round.
Yep.
Really tough to see that. Really tough to see that from Speedy.
Yeah, good transition into this qualifier round. Like you said, Speedy in his home track. When he was starting to make a push, I mean, he never really had a shot to win this whole thing, but the way he'd been trending the last few weeks, it was trending up. Am I wrong? Yeah, I mean, he got all the way up to 8th place, a gold medal, a 15th place a 15-pointer, a 22-pointer in the back half of the season. So he really was trending really up. If you look at just the back half of the season, unbelievable effort.
He had a gold medal last week.
Yeah.
He had a gold medal last week.
So to see this last place finish fall on their face, I think everyone wanted to see the Savage Speeders and the Green Ducks do well, and they were not treated to really any happiness here.
Yeah, I mean, tough to see. If you're a Savage Speeders fan, you had to feel good going into week 9. You're coming home. You feel like Speedy can race well at home. Just didn't have it from the start. Ended up finishing with a 5-point finish, which, maybe about 15th, maybe a little better than that.
Better than that, 13th, but just bottom half.
Just not what you want to see.
No, putting yourself last place in qualifiers, we've said it time and again. You're never going to be able to really dig out of that. And if you do, you're burning a lot of steam that you could use for later weeks.
For sure.
I'm just getting word. I think Billy's at the podium.
Do
we want to throw it down there?
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
We're going to throw it down to Billy at the podium, and we'll react to it live once we get that done with. So here's Billy.
I feel really letting that whole season down in 1 week here.
Obviously doesn't feel good at all. Not the race we wanted to, put out there today. Really tough for our team and obviously for me personally, but looking to bounce back next week.
Yeah, so talking about you personally, just maybe give an answer to the question, how do you feel personally about letting down your team? Mallard worked so hard last week to get you guys in the first place. You've now fallen back to second, 19 points away from the title.
I mean, how would you feel?
Not good.
Yeah, seems like a pretty dumb question. Next one, please.
So you're 19 points back of the Crazy Cat's Eyes heading into the Week 10 final week next week. You need a lot to go your way. Is there any possible chance you feel like you have of coming back and Mallard carrying you to the final?
100%. We're going to get back in the room. We're going to keep training all this week and get ready for the qualifiers on Friday and try to get back on that podium.
How important do you feel like qualifiers are going to be this week?
It's huge. Every point is huge. We're going to go out there, focus, one lap, one race at a time, and it starts with getting on the pole position for the qualifiers.
If Mallard is unable to do it next week, how much regret are you going to have in this offseason before Marble League?
I mean, again, these questions. Obviously not a great week for me, but you know what? We're moving on to next week. Next question.
That'll be all for Billy. Thanks so much, Billy.
Wow.
I before the press, I heard there was the presser. I heard there was some aggression in the air, but that might have been an understatement after that press conference.
But it's also hard to say. I mean, this is a dramatic collapse, unlike something we've seen in all of sports, really. To work as hard as Billy and Mallard, I just feel for Billy because he's let his team down. He let Mallard, his counterpart, down. They've both worked so hard to get to first place last week, unbelievable, and now to find themselves where they're at. Anything he said in particular, or just the overall vibe, you got to feel for him.
Tough, and the person asking the questions there didn't make it any easier for Billy.
Yeah.
I liked his answer. The only thing you can do going into week 10 is support your teammate and try to get ready for this upcoming race. And we'll go into it here. But are they dead in the water? Are these Green Ducks done? We sit here and act like the season's over and a big failure, but the Green Ducks are putting up a great showing, a good full body of work, and they are in second place here, right behind the Crazy Cat's Eyes. Crazier things have happened in this Marbleverse. So, what do you think? Are they dead?
No, you're right. So you bring up a great point. Everyone is acting, even Billy on the podium. Actually, well, he had a good answer. He said, "Look, we're focused on next week, and that's all you can do now because the race is over."
Yeah,
but I think everyone has written them off. This next week could be a microcosm of the whole season. They were fighting back all season to try and get that top spot. They finally did. Now they've lost it. So this week, let's lay out the scenarios for the people.
Sure, yeah.
So Crazy Cat's Eyes needs to the most simple one is Green Ducks comes out, they win or get second place, and Crazy Cat's Eyes does not see any points. So they come 15th or lower, 14th or lower.
And just to be clear, through 9 weeks, they've scored a point in every single week.
Right. So the more realistic situation that we need is Green Ducks to come in first place, earn that 25 points, and for Crazy Cat's Eyes to get somewhere between 11th or lower, 10th or lower.
About, yeah.
So listen, it's not over. It's not over.
Take us through the qualifier, because this qualifier holds a lot more meaning than people think.
Yes, this is going to be the most important qualifier that we've seen all season, maybe one of the more important ones we've seen in our lives. Because these 3 points you get for winning the qualifier, 2 for coming in second, and 1 for coming in third. If Green Ducks can capture that first place in the qualifier, especially if Crazy Cat's Eyes does not get a top 3 spot,
huge.
That would be massive and take a little bit of weight off them going into this next race.
Absolutely. And like we said, we look at a Crazy Cat's Eyes team. You really can't bank on them coming in 15th or lower.
Yeah.
So any kind of, any points you can get from the qualifier to, coming in first, second, whatever, every point's huge, just because we know how good the Crazy Cat's Eyes are, which you don't want to doubt them.
Look, you asked if there's any chance. There is a chance. It's hard to imagine it happening. It would take a choke job by Crazy Cat's Eyes that we really just haven't seen them do. So it'd be really out of character, but hey, that's why you run the races.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They got Yellow Eye coming into week 10. I can't say enough about either of those races. Red Eye and Yellow Eye have been dominant, lights out through this whole competition. So tall order for Mallard and the Green Ducks, but it could be in the cards. Who knows?
It could be. And so we just saw Billy at the media table. I will say, I think after the season is over, there's going to be a lot of more press conferences for Marbles recapping their seasons. So we'll get to hear from a lot of these, whoever the champion is. We'll get to hear from the likes of the Thunderbolts and Team Primary, who were just question marks, and maybe hopefully get some answers from them among the other teams that I'm sure you fans want to see.
Absolutely. I mean, one thing that comes to mind, involving your squad is I'd love to hear from Clementon and is it Orangen racing too? Clementon and Orangen. What's been going on with this escalator here? And that could be a nice transition point. But
yeah,
we saw again, I believe it was lap 3. Was it a triple bounce?
Two occasions there was a triple bounce.
A triple bounce?
I think a little later than lap 3, but I think, it was huge.
This is an issue that's plagued the Rangers throughout this whole competition. And I don't want to say they've raced bad, but to be in 5th with all these issues they've had with the escalator, you like to dream and think if they didn't have these issues, they could be right where the Crazy Cat's Eyes are.
I've been trying my best not to think of that. It's going to be definitely an interesting point when they take the podium next week to hear about that. I feel like in my costume, I should have put battered and bruises on my faces so I could have been the actual Rangers this year. But yeah, week in, week out, been a really, really, really hard thing to overcome for them. You'd think that they do some in-season training, some in-season coaching to fix those issues.
Absolutely.
But haven't seen it. So that's definitely something we need to address for next season and to get these little kinks out before Marble League coming up here soon as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Any other team you kind of noticed this week?
I think we should dive into this race a little bit. We've been talking about Green Ducks, we've been talking about Crazy Cat's Eyes, but those are the two that really have a shot at the title still, but there's a lot of marbles here that had impactful runs, including Snowballs, who just played themselves into a potential championship as well. They're not completely dead.
Yes.
Things need to break even more right for them than they do for the Green Ducks, but it can happen.
Down 24, I believe, right? 24 points, if my math is correct.
That's a lot.
A great week 9. Really never a doubt when you looked at the race. Maybe a little slight doubt at the end when Red Eye was coming up fast behind.
Yeah.
At one point, I think Red Eye was shaving probably 0.4 of a second off every lap. It was actually fantastic.
Terrifying.
It was unbelievable to see.
Put Crazy Cat's Eyes in open space, and it's
a scary problem.
Yeah.
But having said that, Snowy with a great week. I thought he led the way basically the entire race for the most part. Qualified well. Have to be happy if you're a Snowballs fan.
Yeah, Snowy. She did unbelievable. I think it was as big of a 4-second lead at one point there.
Yep.
Crazy Cat's Eyes in open spaces. Never a good thing to see breathing down your neck, but she was able to still get the win and remain. I mean, if you look at this season, it's a really, really good season. A little bit of a dog days of summer in the middle there. Race 3, 4, 5, and 6 with a 3, 6, and a 4-point total, but 2 silvers on both ends, a gold, and an 18-point finish in week 1. Just really good season.
Yeah, no, nothing bad to say about the Snowballs. I don't know if they're going to win the whole event. I think that's pretty much an outside chance.
Yeah, maybe 1%, less than 1%.
But,
chance.
If they can hang on and get themselves on the podium, I think they'll be more than happy with that.
I couldn't agree more. And we're going to give it a top 5. So the top 10s are a little bit obsolete at this point since there's really only 4 marbles that can win it and 7 that can podium. So we'll give you our top 5 and give you who we think is going to win second and bronze this thing. Just kind of did that was weird.
I got you.
Yeah, but we'll do that. One more question before we hop into that. So these teams right here, Green Ducks, Snowballs, Hazers, they're all chasing the Crazy Cat's Eyes. They all have a chance for a championship, but they all need Crazy Cat's Eyes to perform poorly in this next race. Do you think there might be any strategy where these teams working together to potentially? We just talked about Crazy Cat's Eyes in open space to clog it up for them, make it tough on Yellow Eye or Red Eye, whoever's racing next week.
It's a good theory, and I would love to see that as a fan. To be honest, I don't think it'll matter. I think Yellow Eye and Red Eye are that good. This Crazy Cat's Eyes team has proven over the course of the last 9 weeks that they're that good. I don't think anybody slows them down. I think, if you're the Snowballs and Hazers, you try to get in front of them and slow them down as much as you can. I just don't think it'll work. I just think nothing has told me in the last 9 weeks that anything will change. I mean, they are consistently – the Crazy Cat's Eyes consistently the best team we have here in Marbula One.
Yeah, it is. And you go back and you think of what could have been coming into this week. It's so tough, but I
know Billy,
man,
a lot of questions to be answered from Billy.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll talk to him. Hopefully we'll talk to him next week when he's on the first place podium. That would be something.
I would love that. I would definitely love that.
That would be something. Let's talk about a couple other marbles here. So 5, 6, and 7. We got O-Rangers, Cobalts, Raspberry Racers, teams that can podium but can't come in first place here.
Mm-hmm.
So O-Rangers we talked about. A lot to be desired this season when it comes to boarding the conveyor belts. Cobalts, a team that you had pretty consistently in your top 10 this season. I gave you a grief for that, but put together an unbelievable campaign with 3 medals overall, gold, silver, bronze. And really just, aside from the 0 this week, they're another team that had a golden opportunity in front of them and blew it.
Yeah, a little bit of hot and cold. Cobalt's obviously a really bad performance this week. We look at the teams, and you can see in the top 10, you look at the teams that come in week out, even when they don't have their best stuff, and somehow get some points on the board.
Yeah.
You look at the Snowballs, you look at the Crazy Cat's Eyes. Besides this past week, the Green Ducks, 0 points, if that makes any sense. So in every week, they at least put some points on the board, is what I meant.
Huge.
That's the difference. And we look at some of the Cobalts, last week, or, this past week, they had a 0-point effort. Week 5, they had a 0-point effort. Week 1, they had a 0-point effort. They can get on the podium 3 times and still they're in 6th place. So I think it was a little upsetting to see the Cobalts show what they showed in week 9. And I don't think they get on that podium, even though I've been a fan through this whole competition.
I don't think that they've been a little bit of just kind of a dark horse surprise here to be even as high as they are right now. But to add on to your thought, I think like you look at some of these teams with 0s. Rangers have a 0. Cobalts have 2, 3 zeros.
3 zeros.
If they can put up 4, 5, 6 in each of those weeks, they're fully within the Crazy Cat's Eyes reach right now. And
absolutely.
So that's going to be something that they're going to be talking about in the offseason. They're going to be regretting. They're going to be regretting those weeks. But yeah, I mean, it all comes down to Midnight Bay next week. It's a midnight whisk track.
Midnight Bay.
Will the clock strike midnight on the Green Duck season?
I like that.
I like that too.
But no, it should be. We should be in for a great week. Obviously, a little upsetting with the Green Ducks, but don't count them out yet. I just have a weird feeling that Mallard could show up here and do some damage. So
I hope you're right.
That's what we want to see. I mean, that's what we pay for.
It is. Do you want to jump into the top 5? This is going to be actually this episode will be perfectly lengthy. Whatever. We're setting up for a massive showdown next week. Next week's episode, we're going to have pretty much breaking down the entire season.
Yeah.
We'll have all those marbles, giving all their thoughts. We'll react to it. We'll give our thoughts on the season.
Absolutely.
And then look ahead to Marble League, which should be coming up here in a couple weeks.
It should be fantastic.
We'll
do some end of the season press conferences too. Should be able to talk to some of the players.
Yeah.
Maybe even interview 1 or 2. Who knows?
Yep.
So that should be great. We're excited for next week. But this race, let's talk about our top 5 here because
let's do it.
We got a good finish on our hands.
So I think it was while we're doing our top 5, so we're basically just going to rank how we think they're going to end top 5.
Correct.
That's what we're doing. All right. Well,
for the whole season.
For the whole final standings ranked top 5. I'll let you go number 1. You want to go number 1 first?
Yeah. I hate to say it, but I don't think my list is going to be that crazy. It's just
it's going to be tough.
We've seen 9 weeks of these racers, and the standings are pretty telling. Crazy Cat's Eyes, CCE, got to be number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to give you some clickbait here, but I can't do it. That would just be untruthful and
none to be had.
Crazy Cat's Eyes are taking
none to be had unless they blow a tire or some kind of crazy event happens.
Yeah,
I just don't see them.
Maybe the launch off. I mean, not root for injuries here, but maybe some kind of obstruction takes them out.
Who knows?
You're number 2.
No, you go number 2.
All right, my number 2. Call me crazy. It's gonna be the Hazers. It's gonna be the Hazers. They're sitting 6 points off of second place right now. I just go back to Green Ducks and how deflating this must be. I think it goes one of 2 ways. They bounce back and they put up an amazing week, or they sink and save some energy for Marble League coming up in the next 2 weeks and just be sad about what they just gave up. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think the Green Ducks, Billy, we heard him on the podium, didn't sound good. So I don't know if Mallard's going to be able to pick him up. Mallard's probably pretty sad right now. So
it's a tall order. My number 2 is the Green Ducks.
Okay.
For the only reason is Mallard, last week or the last time he raced, which was week 8, he did podium. Yep. I think he's getting hot at the right time. I think he's going to step up in a big way, pick his teammate up. But unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to be enough.
I hope you're right.
But I do think he comes in second. And they get some points out of week 10.
I hope I'm wrong, but I like your thought there. You go ahead for 3.
Again, yeah, I'm boring. I think we're going to hold here, and the Snowballs are going to come in third in podium here.
Okay.
I'm going to stay true to the standings right now. I think Snowy was very impressive in week 9, and I think they do enough to get that bronze medal.
Yeah, Snowballs looked really, really good this week, but as we've seen, the trend for them is good week, bad week, good week, bad week. It seems a little bit. So I'm actually going to put the O-Rangers in the 3 spot.
I had a feeling.
Wishful thinking. I've done enough pessimism this season. I think if we could capture a bronze out of the season, I would be absolutely ecstatic with the Crazy Cat's Eyes and Green Ducks been rolling the way we are. I'm surprised that we've even hung around to top 5, but it's good to see. And I think we might be able to capture the bronze. That would be fun.
No, great showing for the O-Rangers. Very up and down.
Yeah.
It's classic fandom from the O-Rangers. It's just one moment you're extremely happy. The next you're like, oh, man, you just want to pull your hair out. They're going to be my number 4 team. I think, again, they've raced well at times. They've been disappointing at other times. I think they're going to overtake the Hazers here and come in 4th.
So I had Crazy Cat's Eyes at 1, Hazers at 2, O-Rangers at 3. Yeah, 4 spot, Snowballs. I know you're probably surprised that I haven't heard the Green Ducks yet.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I love the way the Snowballs are rolling right now. Silver and gold in the last 3 weeks. Obviously, yes, I did just point out the up and down trend, but I think they'll do enough. And like I just talked about the Green Ducks, I think they're absolutely hurting after what just happened this week. So I'll put Snowballs at the 4 spot.
No, very fair. Rounding out my 5, it's going to be the Hazers. Again, my list is boring, but you know what? I'm pretty confident in my list. I do think who's in the lead now is going to stay in the lead. I think the O-Rangers overtake the Hazers, but in the end, Hazers round out my top 5.
Yep, I'm going to put 5th spot Green Ducks. There they finally land. They come down to rest in the pond of 5th place. Really would be really, really sad to not come home with any hardware this season for the Green Ducks. Maybe that's something that they can get themselves out of bed for, is to still capture a bronze or a silver.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope we don't see them come in 5th.
That would be tough.
Yeah, I really hope they podium.
Somebody would have to call Billy and Mallard
and check on them.
Yeah,
for sure. It would be duck hunting season for them.
Yeah, big time.
Let's just an interesting point as I look at the point totals here. Do you think the winner of our Marbula One Season 5, do you think the winner is going to have over 150 points? Or under?
That's a fun game.
Points?
150?
Right now, we sit Crazy Cats has 136 points. Your Green Ducks 117.
Well, so 150 is the only person that can reach that is Crazy Cat's Eyes.
Correct.
I'd also love to go back to previous seasons and see if 150 has been accomplished.
That would be a great. I'm sure somebody in the comments will ping that real quick.
If you do know, let us know what the best Marbula season ever is.
Yeah, in points, in point totals.
I'm going to take the under because I'm hoping for this Crazy Cat's Eyes blunder and another team from the back to overtake them.
Okay. I mean, really, if the Crazy Cat's Eyes come in the top 10, I think they hit that over of the 150 points.
No, they need a top 5 finish.
Do they?
Yeah, they need a top 5 finish.
What's 9th place get you nowadays? They need 14 points.
Yeah, and that's kind of a lot.
You're right.
They need like a top 5 finish.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
Man, we say that, but we're talking about the Crazy Cat's Eyes.
Yeah,
so.
that's basically a lock for them.
Yeah, it's 175 points for them. But interesting to see. I mean, week 10, obviously a little upsetting about the Green Ducks, but we sure have a good slate lined up and a lot of viable options. What can happen here?
Let's just take a look right before we head out here. Let's just take a look at the bottom of this leaderboard and just give me somebody who really is just, I don't know, just anyone you want to comment on. Team primary is easy, but that is just pathetic. I mean, look at those zeros. I can't wait to hear their press conference too. That's one Marvel I'd like to interview next week.
We could hit on it quick too because we are a team primary podcast, much to our chagrin. But Arep, was he in 3rd at one point this week?
Oh man, yeah. I don't
know. Was he in the top 3
just
at one point?
The most confusing, strange racer I've ever seen.
He honestly, I think he looked around and was like, I don't belong here at all.
Exactly
he went right back to the last.
I think that's exactly what happened. He was like, wait, what? Where? This is not enough space.
Yeah, he's like, I have no idea where I am.
Yeah, he belonged back there with Thunderbolts and Balls of Chaos. Balls of Chaos actually put up a decent number, but
it's almost impressive. And I'm gonna again pick on the team primary to be that bad with a podium finish. Week 3 they came in 3rd place, 18-point finish, and somehow they only have 23 points through 9 weeks. That's almost impressive.
It is very impressive.
So I guess to answer your question, that's my team. You could pick on any of those teams at the bottom. I'm not even going to talk about my squad because I don't want to get sick.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I want to say, props to Thunderbolts. Clap it up for Thunderbolts for Bolt. Actually, I don't think we've been on the podcast since Bolt came back after that horrific injury. Obviously, hasn't been rolling very well, but to just see him rolling at all is really what we've wanted.
Absolutely. And I'm just checking here. I remember seeing I just remember hearing Siren a lot. I mean, I confuse it. That he's from the Oceanics. I definitely remember him up front a little bit in the beginning. Not that I'm looking to say anything nice about the Oceanics, but obviously some of these teams on the bottom. What are we going to say?
The last thing I want to say, I just want to give some props to Team Galactic. It looked horrendous all year, but last 3 weeks, 6, and a 9. Made a respectable marble of themselves in some way. They're out of the bottom 3, so if there was relegation, they wouldn't be relegated right
with
now.
The fastest lap under
with
the
belt.
With the fastest lap. So
hold on,
people forget that.
Fun fact here: was today the first race there was a fastest lap winner? Snowballs won. Oh no, I'm an idiot. Savage Speedway is also one of the fastest laps, so disregard that. But fastest lap trend, I don't know.
Yeah, over here too. But I also would guess that Red Eye was close to that fastest lap. I mean, lap 13 or 14 there.
Kind of unbelievable. They only have one fastest lap in this entire 10 weeks.
He was flying,
and it was one of their worst outings of the season. All right. Anything else you want to touch on before we? I cannot wait for for Midnight Bay, for this thing to unfold, for us to hear from all the marbles next week.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great.
All the marbles.
Excited to see how this finishes, even though I think I can take a guess who wins it all, but I really hope I'm wrong. Super excited for week 10. Close this out. Get ready for Marble League. And we appreciate everybody commenting, liking, subscribing. It's been great. Keep throwing those comments in on our YouTube.
Definitely.
We love
throw
them.
the comments and let us know what you think of this episode and what you think is going to happen this week. I can't wait.
It's going to be great.
All right, guys, we're rolling out. Guys and girls, we're rolling out.
And marbles.
And guys, girls, marbles. Anything else that you identify with? We're rolling out. We'll see you guys next week at Midnight Bay. Should be a great episode. Going to be probably an hour-long pod next week.
The finale.
Here we go. Peace.